Hey everyone, Blissey here. I'm coming back with another Gen 3 Netplay. Again, this is a modded version of XD that Papa Hefe and I made, where we removed Team Preview and the HP bars on the Pokemon that Coliseum would normally display, so that we could play with Smogon rules properly. I'm going to be playing Little Cup, which is a level 5 format where you can only use unevolved baby Pokemon. And I'm going to be playing against LRXC, the Battle Factory Goat. We did this to showcase a unique format, and LRXC was, heavily invested in this format a little while ago, so I thought it'd be fun to showcase. I have never played it yet, but I'm excited to get into it. So he leads off with a Krabby, as I lead off with a Lilip, which is going to do very well into that. It's a good lead matchup for me. So I'm just going to go for the obvious play to Giga Drain here. I don't think that a Krabby is going to be able to survive this. Now, one of the most interesting things about Little Cup is that the item Citrus Berry is really good in this format. And that's because, unlike later gens, Citrus Berry actually sucks. It only heals for 28 or 30 HP, excuse me. Usually it heals for a quarter of your max HP. But because it's 30 in this game, that's actually most Little Cup Pokemon's entire health bar. So it's a really good item. Now, LRXC, quite correctly gets out of there as I Giga Drain the Coughing. Now, I don't want to stay in because my Lilip actually can't hurt this thing too easily. So I decided the best play is to go into my own Coughing. I'm expecting a Sludge Bomb or a Will-O-Wisp or something like that. And so I thought my own Coughing is probably the play here. And he does, in fact, Sludge Bomb. I love the little animation that Coughing has here in the XD games. So we're Coughing on Coughing. I could have exploded here, and I really thought about doing it. But it's so early. I don't know if he has a Ghastly. I don't know if he was expecting it. And I'm actually going to go for Thief, even though I haven't lost my item yet, because I was hoping to catch an incoming Ghastly. I don't know what Krabby Coughing indicates. I don't know when you're going to be using Ghastly or when you're not. But LRX, he gets out of there and goes into a Wailmer. So Wailmer is extremely threatening, and because I can't take the item because I haven't used my Citrus Berry yet, I basically do nothing here. And I think that Coughing would faint to Water Spout even with Wailmer having lost a little bit of HP, so I escape into Lilip, knowing that, yeah, I won't take a Water Spout so great here, but I do have a Citrus Berry and I would live. But LRXC gets me right off the bat with a Rain Dance. So now this thing, even though it lost a smidgen of HP, is going to hurt really badly with Water Spout. I am very scared. This is probably, looking at that HP, that's like a 130, 135 base power Water Spout or something. And yeah, I resist it, but it's boosted 50% by Rain, so this is quite scary. I live, just barely, and I get off a pretty good Giga Drain, but it's not as big as I would have wanted it to be. And because we're below half HP, our berries are going to kick in. Now, this is also something weird about Gen 3, if you've never played it before. The berries actually only activate at the end of the turn. They don't activate immediately when you hit the HP threshold. So, just something interesting to consider. So, LRXC goes for another Water Spout here, and I thought, oh, I'll probably live it. Nope, that little base power difference was just enough to take out Lilip, and now I'm really scared of this thing. There's still like 3 turns of Rain left, and it's going to be firing off really strong hits. So I go into Elekid because it does outspeed, and this is one of the best Pokemon in the format. But I don't have Substitute, and I'm scared of a Diglett coming in, so I can't just click Thunderbolt. I don't want to get Arena Trapped and then be forced to Speed Tie with Diglett. So I go for the mid-ground Hidden Power Grass, because that would still hit Wailmer super effectively if they chose to stay in. Now, they end up going into PORYGON, who is by far the best Pokemon in the format. It has a million different sets. It could basically do anything that it wants to, although I think Agility Sweeper is the primary situation at this point in time. Now, I don't really want to switch anything into this. It's kind of a big threat, especially if it's offensive. So I just go for a Thunderbolt, knowing that I would definitely live one hit from a PORYGON. And I get a really lucky Para here, which would have mattered because PORYGON is kind of slow, and if this was Agility, it could have been scary. Luckily, I do live, and because it did so much damage to me, it's actually going to faint through the recoil of Double Edge, which is pretty good for me. And now at this point, I'm thinking, okay, maybe he didn't have a Diglett. And Diglett comes right in. And it's like, okay, well, unfortunate, but that's how it goes. I don't actually have a Citrus Berry on this fellow, but this is a speed tie, assuming we're both max speed. So I go for the Ice Punch because it's slightly stronger than Devour Grass, and I lose the speed tie and faint to the Diglett. And okay, that sucks because Elekid was really good into Wailmer, and it was actually my best check to Wailmer by far, so maybe I should have preserved this. I'm not really sure. So I go into my own Porygon to force trap this Diglett here. Diglett isn't really going to be able to do too much damage to me. I do have my Citrus Berry on this Porygon still, and I'll be able to one-hit KO with Ice Beam. I almost said Ice Cream. I get a really lucky Toxic Dodge here, and I'm just going to take this Diglett out with an Ice Beam. My thought process here was that even if Diglett does poison me, I need to get rid of it, and Porygon will do pretty decent into Wailmer as well. Now, looking at this situation here, I'm thinking, okay, I'll live anything this wants to go for, so I might as well just stay in and go for a Stab Tri-Beam. Maybe I could get a Para, maybe I could get a Freeze or something like that. And Wailmer doesn't have its Citrus Berry anymore, so I should be able to whittle it down slowly and deal a good amount of damage and not be taking that much from Water Spout anymore. Now, I actually did a lot less than I thought I would, and I used my Citrus Berry up, and I think, this is a little scary. I'm going to click Recycle to get my Citrus Berry back, so that way I'll be able to take another hit pretty well. And, in fact, LRXC does go for Surf here, because they must have calculated that Water Spout was now weaker than Surf at this point, and I'm going to get my Berry back so that if I take another hit from Surf, I would get healed. But this was quite a misplay. And that's because I should have just tried to take this Wailmer out instead of preserve Porygon. Little Cup is like a really fast-paced tier, so it's kind of hard to, for me anyway, it was kind of hard to like figure this out. But here, because LRXC knows that this is like a 2-hit KO from the current HP range that they're at, they go for a Rain Dance, and now the next Surf will take me out regardless of my Citrus Berry, because I'm not in the range for it, so I'm not at full health, and Recycling was a blunder. If I had just try attack twice, Rain wouldn't be up, and I wouldn't have lost my Porygon here. So now I'm going to have to go into something that's going to be faster than this. And Rain being set up is really scary, because yes, it's going to boost Wailmer's damaging moves, but there could also be a Swift Swimmer in the back, and I, at this point, with Porygon fainted, do not have a great answer to a Swift Swimmer. I pretty much have to go Dugtrio, or Diglett here, excuse me, and try and take out the Wailmer, because I don't really have anything else that wants to take a hit, and Diglett's the fastest, strongest Pokemon on my team. Now, Diglett doesn't need to run Choice Band in this tier, so I am free to switch up my moves, but as my fear comes true, he sends in Horsey to do a Rain Sweep. Now, Swift Swim will double Horsey's speed, make it faster than Diglett. I'm going to stall one turn with Protect, because I thought, well, without the Damp Rock item, Rain actually only lasts like 5 turns in this format, right? So I can luckily try and stall it out. I could either go for a double Protect here, or I could go into like Coughing or my Houndour here, who is totally useless, and sacrifice it. And I opt to get rid of Houndour because I just think, well, you know, this is not going to be very useful into Horsey. It's not going to be useful into Krabby either, who is another Pokemon I was worried about on LRXC's team. And I can't get rid of Coughing because Coughing is actually good into Krabby. So Houndour goes down, and I'm going to go back into Diglett. This is because this is my best answer into the Horsey. The rain stops, so now I'm faster, but because this Pokemon can invest a lot more in HP since it's a Rain Sweeper, I don't think that Diglett is going to be able to one-hit KO it with Earthquake. And Substitute isn't really going to do me any good here either. So my plan at this point is to go for a Rock Slide flinch, and I miss. And down goes my Diglett, unfortunately. It's never good to have a miss like that, but also I shouldn't be playing around the miss chance of or the flinch chance of Rock Slide. If that's my only out, that means I misplayed a lot to get to this point. And now I go into Coughing, and I'm totally out of steam. If I had gotten the flinch, maybe I would have had a chance, but at this point, there's not really much I can do. Coughing is not going to take hits from Horsey very well, even with the Citrus Berry up. And LRXC chooses to preserve as I Sludge Bomb. Not sure why. I wouldn't have exploded here, but I guess it's just because Krabby will take the physical hits slightly better. And, like, worst case scenario, LRXC could have brought their own Coughing in for Boom. So, I don't know. And, you know, at this point, like I said, I'm totally out of steam. I do have Hidden Power. I could try and go for that. Go for Sludge Bomb. It does do a lot of damage. I'm not sure what other situations I could even go for. What else I could do to handle this. But that was good info for game 1. And I thought this was a pretty good battle. I'm pleased with how I did for my first time playing the format. I know it's a John to say, oh, first time playing the format, but my goal is just to play different formats, have fun, learn more about the meta. And Krabby, because it's Gen 3, is using a special attack, since you kind of have to run mixed attackers in this gen. I end up getting crit, and down goes the Coughing, and that's game 1. I hope you all enjoyed. Now let's get underway to game 2. So we have game 2 against LRXC here. We both brought different teams. This is sort of how Smogon best of 3s work. My lead is going to be a duo this time. I've got a much more offensive team planned out here. And it's a bit of like a normal spam moment. I think it was one of the sample teams, but I can't recall. I was very scared of another Whalmer situation. That was easily the most terrifying Pokemon on LRXC's team. He goes ahead and leads with Magby. And this thing kind of scares me right off the bat. So I don't want to keep Doduo in under any circumstance, and I thought the best switch in I had to this would be my Snubble. I could pretty much take any special move that it wanted to throw at me. I have a bit of a Spadef Snubble moment going on here. Plus, if it is doing any physical attacks, I do have Intimidate to handle that. And of course, worst case scenario, right off the bat, we have a substitute, presumably Focus Punch Magby coming in. So I just have to try and break it with Return. That's really my only option. I should be able to live a Focus Punch, was my thought here, and I can't risk, you know, taking it. It was a really great substitute on turn 1 by LRXC. And this is going to hurt even at the minus attack from the Magmy. And Snubble just goes down. I thought I would be able to live, but no. I couldn't believe that wasn't a crit or anything like that. Now, luckily, I do have a Trapper again. It's not Diglett, but this time Trapinch. So I'm going to hopefully be able to take this thing out with an Earthquake. I'm nervous about, like, various coverage moves. This thing could have, like, Hidden Power Grass or something. But it does not use that and goes for a Toxic on my Trapinch easily. But I will be able to take it out. I will trade a Toxic Trapinch for a dead Magby any day of the week. Especially since Trapinch probably has a little bit less utility later on than Diglett because of how slow this Pokemon is compared, you know, to the rest of the tier. And there it is, Satan themselves, Whalmer, the most terrifying Pokemon to me. I actually decide I literally don't have a good switch into this, especially since my Spadef Snubble died. So I have to let Trapinch go here. So I'm immediately down 2-1 from a series of misplays. But luckily I do have a pretty good switch into this. I have an Elekid for the Whalmer, and this time I'm Substitute. So if there's a Diglett coming in, I'll be able to catch it with that and then click Ice Punch, and I will be very, you know, free to do what I want to do. Unfortunately, LRXC brings the best counter to my set I could even imagine, which is this Chinchou here, who has Volt Absorb, and I have no way to hit with anything. I have Thief. I could Thief, but I go for Ice Punch. A, to not reveal Thief, I could try and snag an item later, but B, I could get a Freeze, which would, you know, that'd be nice, right? We could call hope for a little bit of hacks here. I don't get it, and LRXC goes for Surf. Now, I had the opportunity to try and get a, like, Citrus moment going here by repeatedly sub-spamming and then thiefing the presumably Citrus Berry from the Chinchou, but I chose not to do that because I thought Elekid's health must be important. So I'm going to get out of here and go into PORYGON, who I think could take any hit from the Chinchou, and is also going to be pretty strong. This is a more offensive PORYGON. Last time I kind of had the recycle the recycle like weak set, I guess you could say. This time I'm going for something much more powerful, much more like offensive, and I think the double edge could hit anything pretty hard. He goes into Whalmer, which is good because, well, it's good and bad. I mean, it'll take a lot of damage from this double edge here, but I'm going to get a lot of chip, and the amount of chip that I'm going to get is going to cause me to consume my citrus berry, which is, you know, scary. And Whalmer also eats their citrus berry, so now they are back at full health, ready to spout some water. My only play here is to double edge again. I think I'll live a water spout. And because I was running double edge, LRXC actually thought I was much more offensive than I was in terms of speed investment, and goes for a surf, fearing Porygon going first and double edging. So that was a safe play from LRXC, and that benefited me. I did a good chunk to Whalmer here, so now it's fully unable to threaten me with water spout, no matter which Pokemon I've got. And I'm not going to make the same mistake as last game. I'm not going to try and recycle. I'm not going to do anything like that. I'm just going to click double edge. And apparently LRXC is so threatened by Porygon here, he's just going to blow the Whalmer up, which is totally fine by me. That thing is a threat and a half to my team. I'm still down a Pokemon, but I do have several powerful offensive threats left, and I do have a very good defensive check in that of Coughing. So LRXC goes into Snubble, and I go, well, dang, I just lost the switch in, because I could have, you know, used Elekid pretty decently here, but now Doduo is intimidated, and I think I don't really want to stay in here. And I'm just going to go to Coughing. Coughing is a great check to most physical attackers, which Snubble probably is, and I should be able to damage it with, you know, whatever move that I feel like, right? And Snubble goes for a bulk up, which scares the crap out of me. I think there is no way I can... this thing could easily sweep me. I could have gone for chips via, like, Sludge Bomb and maybe hope to get a poison or something like that, but I didn't really want to let it rack up bulk ups, especially if it had a citrus berry to heal itself up, you know? So I'm just going to, boom, get the heck out of there. Even with the +1 defense, Boom should KO because Boom halves the defense of the target. So it's actually at -1 thanks to Explosion. Normally it would be at -2. So takes us both out. I am pleased to get rid of the Snubble. It was scary. That clicking bulk up there, I was like, oh my lord, cannot handle that. So I go into Doduo again, knowing that I'd be able to take on the Chinchou, who remains, and a Porygon comes in. And I go, okay, well, I don't super want to handle this. Maybe this thing could have Ice Beam. A lot of them run that. I don't want to feint to double edge here because if it's me against the Chinchou, maybe I could lose. I don't know. And I was really expecting an Ice Beam. But LRXC smartly double edges here to take out my Elekid. I was actually so shocked that this fully KO'd Elekid. And it really doesn't earn the Porygon much recoil, so I'm not even sure that Doduo is going to be able to take it out. I do get a lucky static para there, which gives me some potential hope. You know, Doduo is not going to be the worst into Chinchou and into Porygon. So we'll see what I'm able to do with double edge. And I'm actually choice banded. So if LRXC does have some sort of hard physical wall, then, you know, I'm hecked, but he goes into Chinchou. Chinchou dies in one hit to double edge, which is great news for me. And I'm wondering what he has in the back to handle this Doduo, because this is quite a threat, actually. And he goes into Abra. The Chinchou is just a sack. Abra's actually faster than me, and is definitely going to be able to KO me with any move. It could be Psychic, it could be Ice Beam, or Ice Punch, could be Thunder Punch. And LRXC is just going to go for a Psychic to take me out here. So good games, LRXC. I hope you all enjoyed Little Cup. Let me know if you enjoyed the, you know, Little Cup net play down below in the comments, and what other weird, unique format you would like to see in Gen 3 net play. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you all next battle.